Jen, thanks so much for coming on. I'm so excited to talk to you about your new business venture this year, Hip and Curvy.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're gonna have some fun. Tell me, what's Hip and Curvy?
Hip and Curvy is a way for, me to bring plus size kind of Toronto fashion to a rural community. Beyond just that side of it, it's about body positivity and including everyone in fashion, because for women who wear, a size 10, a size 8, they can go to any store they want and they can find something that's trendy, whereas for a plus size woman, we are a lot more limited in what we can find, and so we can't necessarily wear the trendy stuff, so we kind of are stuck in this box of layering black over black, and
it's boring after a while, and you want some. Well, we know you're always
exactly
looking for some flair and fun.
Absolutely, and it's just about, as we all know, plus size women often struggle with body image and confidence, and so Hip and Curvy's there to build them up. And
so yeah, it's more than just clothing.
It's more than just clothing. It's more of like a lifestyle and an attitude, and yeah, it's more than just clothes.
Doing a lot more. Now it's interesting because I'm asking, what's Hip and Curvy? You're talking about it. It's a message working with women, helping them to boost confidence, but you're also providing a line so that they can shop. Now, you've been working full-time for a long time, but you've also, this year, this is starting your own business, and this whole web series is really looking at female entrepreneurship and helping women to find, networks and help others build their brands and kind of come together. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, what does being an entrepreneur mean to you, especially coming from a world of working a 9 to 5 more or less?
For me, what pushed me to start Hip and Curvy was, all of the background, sure, but the other side of it too is that, yes, I'm working a 9 to 5 and I'm building someone else's brand. I'm not building that for myself because I get my paycheck at the end of the week or whatever, that's fine, but that's not something I'm building for my family. That won't be my legacy, right? Whereas building my Hip and Curvy brand, I'm building that for me so that I don't always have to do the 9 to 5. Right. I'm doing, what you call the side hustle right now. And, the hope is that doing the side hustle, working the full-time job, I'll be able to turn my side hustle into my full hustle. Right. And so it's just about building something for my family so that, my daughter, whether she's plus size or not, she can say, I was raised to include people and accept people and know that if I want something for myself that's mine, right, I can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, and we were talking about this. It's really interesting because we're asking the question and people bring it up. When do you know to jump ship and go full-time on your side hustle or whatever? I mean, you're so early on, you're looking like, oh my gosh, you might be asking the same question to yourself, but for you, how do you know when does that look, what does that look like? When do you know to jump?
Wow, that's such a hard question, and it's such a scary question, right? And I know that you have personal experience with knowing when to.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, you're in something, but you also are so passionate about something. But we have to, I had a friend remind me, at the end of the day, you got to put food on the table, right? And for you, do you have the dream of taking it full time?
I absolutely have the dream of taking it full time. It's just when that timing will be, and I think that will be when the business requires me to be buying full time, vlogging full time, blogging full time, fulfilling orders full time. Right now, I'm not there yet. I'm still in year 1. Oh my gosh! So
that's good for people to hear.
No, absolutely, and you have to have scalability. When you are an entrepreneur, it's great. I want to have Hip and Curvy. I want people to shop with me, right? That's a really nice idea, but I have to have scalability too. So I have, my little things in the back of my mind that I plan to do to scale my business. It's just, it's one thing at a time. Right. And I know that in the program that you and I did together, they talked about that when they gave us our feedback kind of on our Dragon's Den thing, right? How do you scale? Yeah. It's great that you have this idea and you want to inspire people. That's cool. But how are you going to make money, or how are you going to make investors money, right?
And those are the big questions, the tough questions to ask. And jumping off that, because it's kind of exciting, you're talking about scaling and making it bigger. A lot of people think, and we always talk about this, do you need to be in Toronto? Do you have to be in New York City? Do you have to be in the big hustle bustle city centers to expand, to make your, what your brand bigger. And it's really interesting because you're living in a town of how many people?
4,200.
4,200. That's like awesome. And also you're people, that's as big as, the community I'm living in. This is your, your town. You're from the county. Now it doesn't hold you back. And we were joking because you have this big city personality, and it doesn't matter now where you live, right? You can be all over the world, small pockets, big cities, and still reaching the same audience. What do you find has been really powerful about living in a small town and running your business?
The thing that I love the most, well, there's so many things. One thing I love the most is that it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's word of mouth, which means that people are going to refer other plus size women to me because they believe in me and they've met me and they're like, oh my gosh, Jen's cool, she's confident, you're plus size, you may not have that confidence, maybe Jen can help you with it. So the connection that I have with the customers is totally different than if I was in a big city where I have a brick and mortar, people just walk in off the street kind of thing. Like the connection's different.
Yeah.
Something else. Exactly. And the other part of it as well is that the market here is so unsaturated for plus size clothing that I'm actually.
Right? This is why you're feeling a need.
Toronto is pretty saturated at this point. Like there's probably, okay, well, it's not saturated. Let's be honest. Like there's about 4 plus size retailers that I know of that are in Toronto, right? But no, that's not saturated. Totally, But here it's like, I have customers in Brockville who they have to go Ottawa or Kingston just to get something other than no name brand plus size clothing, And so really I'm at an advantage in that regard because I'm bringing Toronto to these girls, and that means they don't have to drive to Toronto or Ottawa to go and get these things. So,
no, and I love that, and I don't know if I'm allowed to jump ahead here, but we were talking about how you're like, okay, I'm thinking about my husband's got a trailer, right? So you're looking at thinking about taking your clothing. When you said you come to the customer, the e-commerce and the way that we deliver is changing, right? Now you're going to the customer. Are you thinking about going into more of a mobile system?
Yes, and you're my inspiration for it, right? So
that's why I'm like, partners.
Absolutely, I do. I'm hoping, that we get the trailer going, and I really, I think it can be it can really change things for me, and I think that. Will I do that forever? No. The goal is get out there to these rural communities, have people know me, and then trust me with my online store, because that's a big thing for plus size women is. Not everything fits everyone the same way, and so you have clothing. Yeah, absolutely, and I think that that's a really big thing. But I definitely, I know the first 5 years I'm going to have to hustle, and I have to get my name out there, and I have to get in front of people. Yeah. So that's what I intend to do. Is I want to target these more rural communities and bring them in, and I have so many dreams, Claire, so many dreams.
But that's why I want to know where you're at right now.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I want to ask you, can you share with the listeners here, when someone's going to buy something from you, what does that look like?
Okay, so normally what happens at this point, because things are still small, they message me on Facebook. It's actually funny because they think I have a team, right? But it's just me.
But that's the beauty.
But that's the best part. They'll say like, "Oh, you girls over there at Hip and Curvy, you're so," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right," But anyway, so they think I have a team, but I don't. It's just me. So what I normally do is they'll come to me and say, "Okay, I'm looking for this. I don't know what size I would be in your stuff," because all of my things are bought from different places. So. You're not gonna fit the same way in this dress as you will in this one. So I'll usually say, send me a picture. Send me a true picture of what you look like.
Wow.
And I'll help you. And the other thing that I do as well is I'm most of the time the model for my clothes. So women know me now, right? And they know my body type. So then they kind of say, okay, well, Jen's a 3X in that. So I'm smaller than Jen. So I'm probably a 2X in that. So that's kind of how it looks. Wow. And it's really it's a really personal experience for them. Some people just go on my website, buy stuff, and I just ship it to them, and we never interact. But most of the time for plus size women, that's what they need.
So you're a consultant. You're definitely working. You're a coach. You're a counselor, and you're helping them find something.
Absolutely. And I have a lot of ladies who will come to my in-home boutique and basically tell me, I've just lost like 60 pounds. I have no clue what will look good on me. And I'm there like, okay, you know, curating outfits.
Yeah.
Another word you taught me.
Favorite word. You're saying they come right to your boutique and you get to work with them. So it's much more than you selling a brand. You're selling a lifestyle, working with these women, helping them to build their confidence and provide them with something.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that as an entrepreneur, when you're starting, I think that's how you have to start.
Very organically.
Yeah, because I don't think that I can just put up my website and say, you need to buy with me because I'm cool.
But I also think that that's the one thing about entrepreneurs, the reason why what they're doing is because they're really passionate about the idea behind it. Yeah, you have to make money and you're selling your product, but I think what I'm getting is that you're really excited about be helping women. And like if you didn't have that opportunity, you know, that would be missing part of the main game piece in your product or in your brand. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, we haven't touched on it because this is like probably people listening, you wouldn't believe this, but Jen, when's your due date?
March 11th, 2017.
Okay. So in about a month.
Yes.
You're going to be having a baby.
Yes.
You have a toddler.
Yes.
How old is she?
She'll be 3 March 10th.
You have a husband, a full-time job, and she started her business this year. I think we mentioned it, even talking about it makes me tired thinking about it, and I can never complain about me being tired. What's your secret? Secret to, you know, you're positive, you're happy, you're optimistic, you have a lot of energy.
I think, you know, not to stray away from the entrepreneurship topic, going more to like relationship conversations.
We can turn this into dating.
I think that the biggest thing for me is that I have an amazing partner. I'm not saying you have to have a partner to be successful, but I'm married and
you need a good partner.
Exactly, and he supports me, and
awesome.
I think because I don't have my relationship as a stress in my life, it makes everything else that I have to balance a lot easier. Doing all of those things means, you know, they won't be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect, but it's busy. And as we all know, Claire, like, as entrepreneurs, we thrive on a little bit of chaos, and we always, I think we will always have that. We don't necessarily always have to have it, but it will always be there.
Chaos, you
yes.
know? I mean, to some people it's chaos, but for us it's organized, right?
Exactly, and I think that you have to thrive on that as an entrepreneur a little bit. And I think that as a mother, especially, you know, because we're doing this for women, and there's a certain level of guilt, like doing puzzles with my daughter on the floor. Okay, I should be vlogging, buying, whatever. And then, okay, so I go and do that. And then when I'm doing that, I'm like, oh man, I should be, you know, cleaning up or doing puzzles or something like that. But I try my best to include my husband and my daughter whenever I can. Mm-hmm. So I find that is really the best way to do it. And it starts with, you know, having us, you know, if you're in a relationship, having a good partner is like the most important part of it, right? Yeah.
I mean, hey, you're lucky. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So, like, we don't know other people's situation, but if you're a mother out there and you're thinking, I really want to start something, and I work with a ton of mothers that are, you know, they're at home and they're really excited about a project. What advice would you give to them if they're contemplating starting something? I mean, they can't go full time, but what worked for you just to start your project? It's a project. I call it projects. People are like, Claire, it's a business. Business.
It is a project, though. Your business is your project, right? Like,
the projects are fun.
Exactly. Absolutely.
This sounds so serious.
So I think for me, I just always had a passion. Like, since the time I was young, I was always, you know, I don't mean to make a pun, but like I was always too big for my small town with my fashion, and I couldn't find things that fit me. And so then it's always been in the back of my mind. So I think the biggest thing is finding your passion, but then at the same time, fashion's a huge industry, right? I can't just say, oh, I want to start a fashion business. No, I need to find my niche within that market. And I think that having a niche is very, very important. And
That could be a whole nother topic. That we could go into,
absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
Understanding your brand, your niche, and the audience that's going to be part of it. Right?
Exactly.
You're speaking to a specific audience.
Exactly, and I think that that's really the biggest part of it, is finding something also that's a viable business, right? Not everything's a viable business. You, as an entrepreneur, one thing that we have are these lenses where we can see, okay, in this town, this is missing, and I can fill that, like what you're doing with this web series, right?
Yeah.
There aren't, as we've researched, there's not a lot of female panels talking about entrepreneurship. It's typically male focused, right? So it's about having that lens as well, being able to see what's needed and filling that need, because at the end of the day, a viable business fills a need that isn't being met at the moment.
And touching on that, how do you find that little bit of balance, or making it work with being a mom and working full time and supporting it? What else could you impart with people here?
Oh, that's kind of a hard one.
I mean, what's one thing that's worked for you that you have to, something that you do every day that's important that you make sure is in your schedule?
I mean, the biggest thing for us, like in this day and age, is posting content on social media. It doesn't take a long time, but you can just, make it a part of your ritual. So I'm up before everyone else. I'm pregnant. I can't sleep. So I'm up early, and I take that time to create some cool content for my Facebook, for my Instagram, that sort of thing. But really, like in terms of balancing, it's
or even just manage your mental health, like even not the business side, but what do you do to make sure that you're staying this fabulous, beautiful, and optimistic? Like, hey, if you just are like that, props to you. But I know it takes a lot of work, and you must have something.
Like some big secret.
No.
There's no big secret. Honestly, it's, I sleep.
I need to hang out with you more.
Honestly, I sleep when I'm tired, but I think it's really like, as an entrepreneur, working full-time, mom, all that, the biggest thing is using your time as wisely as you can. So when you've put the kids to bed, you say, okay, I'm not cleaning the kitchen right now. I'm going to spend an hour. I'm going to work on content, or I'm going to buy, or I'm going to get orders ready to be shipped out tomorrow, or, work on scheduling appointments, something like that. So it's just, I think, about time management, as, nerdy as that sounds.
No,
it's, it's important.
As an entrepreneur, this is what the biggest struggle. But you said sleep when you're tired. I think that's also you. If you can do that, props to you. That's awesome. Okay, last question before we wrap up here. You're in the first year of business. Someone that's starting out, what's one piece of advice you'd like to share with people listening today?
If I could give one piece of advice, it would be, I would encourage everyone to be an entrepreneur if they can. I really would, because I think that it's such a magical roller coaster ride.
Some people, the word roller coaster scares them. But
right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But if they're going to be an entrepreneur, what would you suggest? What's the one advice that you would like to hear if you were starting out?
That sometimes you just got to take that chance. That if you don't take the chance, you'll never know. Yeah. You'll always come back. You'll always come back from whatever you take a chance on, and it's your opportunity to make. It's a piece of you. You're taking a piece of you and you're putting it out there. And I would take the risk, jump, take the risk, because if you don't take it, you'll never know what could have happened.
And we've learned when you take the risk, you put it out there, it'll turn into something else, or it'll grow into something else. And it's like, that's the exciting part.
Exactly.
Hey, life is short.
Exactly.
Jen, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you so much. And
good luck for having me.
Good luck with that little. Thank you. Thanks for listening.